Hi, this is Chris from Untangled Pearls in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I have Suzanne behind the camera.
Hello.
This is our second video tutorial in our series for the Moonwake KAL by Drea Renee Knits. This is a gorgeous KAL with beautiful stranded color work, and this video will be the tutorial on doing that stranded color work. Now, if you're an experienced color worker, this is a great pattern. It has really good rhythm. It's got quick repeats, so it's just a comfortable knit. Now, if you're less experienced or a first-time stranded color worker, this is also a fantastic pattern. There's a few reasons. Number one, it's knitted in the round. So you never have to worry about purling or anything else. So you're just always knitting and you're always on the right side. Two, you never use more than 2 strands at a time on a round. So you don't have to have these, multiple layers. 3, this pattern also has quick color changes. So they're not going to have any really long floats to worry about having to catch. The longest stretch is 5 stitches, which is fine. And we don't have to work, because we're knitting a tube, those floats are all going to be inside the KAL. Nobody's going to be able to poke a finger or grab anything. So that makes it really simple. The chart is a simple 12 stitch repeat. So it's easy to memorize and just start going along. Now there are some suggestions to make this a little bit easier for you. The first one being is stitch markers. Stitch markers, stitch markers, stitch markers. I can't say it enough. We cast it on 84 stitches, which means we're going to have 7 repeats going around. So you're going to want to put a stitch marker in for every repeat. As you can see here, I have 3 stitch markers showing you. This one right here is the beginning of my round. Tells me where my beginning and my end. It's a cute little kitty cat stitch marker that was given to me by one of my students, Judy. Now, we want that because we got to know where to start the new repeat or the new round. Now, tension. Tension is really important when you're knitting stranded color work. By nature, because you're using 2 strands and you have the floats, the material is a little denser and it can be a little tighter. And if you don't do it right, you can actually pucker it, which you don't want. Yes, Suzanne?
Now, Chris, for people who are tighter knitters, such as myself, going out the gate, if we're aware of this, would you recommend that we automatically size up a needle size?
Suzanne, for you, I would definitely recommend. The girl can knit a water bag.
It's true.
Now, Pam on the other side is the opposite. Pam is a very loose knitter, so she actually went down a size right from the get-go. But if you're pretty much on gauge, normally, then you can just stay with the needle size appropriate. We will show you in the videos that are coming forward in the demos some techniques on how to keep your tension loose, how to keep some gaps between the stitches, and how to use the barrel, your barrel of your needle. Now, another one, keeping your yarns separate. You're going to keep one to the right and one to the left. We want to keep them separate because we don't want them twisting. Your yarn starts getting twisted up, and the next thing you know, you got to put your knitting down and spend 15 minutes untwisting your yarn. To me, it's very aggravating. I can't stand it. Okay? And the last one is take your time and enjoy it. It's not a race. We're just going to get this done. We're going to show you 3 different methods to knit. We're going to teach you the pick up and drop method, 2 strands in one hand, and double-handed color work. Give me a moment and we'll set up the camera. Thank you. So now we're ready to start showing some of the different methods to doing your stranded color work. The first thing, if you remember, one of the things I said was stitch markers, stitch markers, stitch markers. You can see I have them all the way around, but I have my cute kitty cat one. That's showing me my beginning of the round, so I know 1 complete round. That's my 7 repeats. Now I also have my 2 yarns. I want to keep them separate, so I'm going to put 1 to the right and 1 to the left. When I'm at home, I put 1 on my right hip, 1 on my left hip, figuring that's a mountain that they have to climb over if they ever want to get together. Now I just finished knitting row 13 of our pattern, which was 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So I'm ready to start the row 14, which means I'm not going to be using this one that's to the left, but I am going to continue in the gray, and I will have to introduce a new color, which is going to be the green. So the pick up and drop, okay, I'm going to just pick up this yarn I'm going to knit 1 stitch as the pattern shows right here. Now the gold, which is representing the green, I'm going to pick up, go in, and just start with the green. I got 1 stitch on. I'm going to drop that one to the left. So I'm keeping those colors separated. I'm going to pick up the gray again, the right hand, and I'm going to now knit my next 5 stitches with the green just laying down. Now if you notice, I am keeping a nice gap between my stitches, and I'm knitting more down towards the barrel and making the yarn stretch a little bit. I want to keep that loose, relaxed tension, and when I get ready to change colors, I want to kind of make sure that I take a little look at them, make sure they got there. Now the green looks loosey-goosey, but we're going to get ready to knit one right now with it. Let me grab the working yarn. Here we go. Now I'm going to pick the working yarn up with my hand, and I'm going to knit it. I might hold a little bit onto that initial tail so it doesn't pull through, but I do not want to pull tight. If I pulled too tight, I would scrunch these back up. I don't want to do that. I want to keep them separate. Okay, I want to have some separation between them. Now I'm going to drop that to the left and pick up and knit with the right hand. Knit with the right hand yarn again. Now, if you wanted to do this continental, you're doing the same way. Okay, we're making sure again that I'm keeping my stitches separate and my tension loose. But now I'm going to put it in my left hand. Now, continental knitters have a tendency to be knit a little tighter. Not everybody, but many of them knit a little tighter. There we go. I finished my first 12. I'm starting again, which starts with 1 of the gray stitches. Now I'm ready I want to make sure I have that tension. Now I'm ready to drop this one to the right. I want to pick this one up from the left, and I want to knit 1 stitch. I'm dropping this to the left, picking this one up from the right, and now I'm continuing. So this is how you can just do a pick up and drop method, keeping the yarns, always pushing the yarns when you're finished with their color to the side of which they came from, so that you're always keeping them separate. Now the next method is using 1 hand, 2 strands. So I'm going to carry both strands of yarn in 1 hand. Excuse me, let me move this over. So I like to put my finger between the 2. Now you can, if you want to, you can put them just over your hands like this. My preferred method is to keep the one to the right on the front and the one to the left on the bottom between that finger. It's just my preferred method. You can do it any way you want, but I want to do it in a rocking motion. So I'm going to pick up, knit the green. Now I'm going to rock that green back down, and now I'm going to pick up and knit with the gray. 1. Now again, we want to maintain, and we want to every so often stop, check, give a little pull, make sure our gauge looks good, and knit 3, 4, up, we're at the end of the marker, so we're starting another repeat, and there's our beginning 1. Now I'm going to rock this back up, I'm going to knit the 1 stitch, and then I'm going to rock it back down. What you want to do is rock up, rock down. You do not want to be going like this, or you'll start twisting your yarns. Now, if you want to carry it in your left hand, you can also do the same thing with your finger. Now, for whatever reason, I can't do that very well, but I prefer to carry them like this over my finger. I put 1 high, 1 low. It's just a matter of whatever feels comfortable for you. I can now grab my gray. 1. Now I still want to make sure I maintain that stitch and maintain some separation between the 2 yarns. 2, 3. Now see how I've got this little gap here. 4, 5. Whoops. Let me maintain that gap. Now I'm going to grab the 1 green. I'm going to check, I'm going to pull, I'm going to make sure my stitches are even. And now I'm going to go back to my gray. I can pull it, all right, so now I can pull 1, whoops, 1, 2, Sometimes I'm all thumbs, just like in class. 3, 4. All right, and now we finished that round. Now the last method I show is my preferred method, which is two-handed. So if you know how to knit English and you know how to knit continental, this is where it comes into favor. A lot of people don't know how to continental purl, but they can continental knit, so they really enjoy this. So we're back at the beginning round. I have on my right hand, I have my right ball of yarn, and on my left hand, I have my left ball of yarn. So I'm going to knit with my right like a thrower, and I'm going to pick with my left like a knitter. Like a continental. All right, thrower, thrower, thrower. Now, I want to maintain that same gap. See, the stitches have a little tension between them. I want to maintain that. No matter what method you're using, now I'm going to pick, now I'm going to go back to throwing. No matter what method. Now, certain key things. If your yarn starts over here, onto your left, and this one's always on the right. If you stop and you pick up in the middle of the round or middle of those colors working together, make sure you always put the yarns back in the same positions. So this gray, as long as it's knitting with this green, will always be on my right, and the green will always be on my left. You don't want to go back and forth. Okay, happy knitting. Oh, let me stop and say one thing real quick. Okay, so now we're ready. I just finished the end of that round with the green. So I just finished row 14. I'm getting ready to start row 15. But I have this blue attached. Now, we have some choices. We can cut it. Okay, and you can weave it in later, which is a great idea sometimes. Or, being it's a cowl and it's inside, what I like to do is, you know how we carry up yarn on the side of a shawl? We kind of wrap it? We're going to kind of do the same thing. So I'm going to take this green that is already on the same side, and I'm going to take this blue, put it over the green and around, so that now when I pull this green, it's going to help carry the blue up the yarn, up the top. Okay, so this is a way of carrying your yarn in the middle up without having to cut every time. So now I would turn around, I would be ready to knit. My green's got to stay over this side, my gray's over this side. Now, as I say, my preferred method, I'm going to now do 3 grays. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to do some green. Now, happy knitting. Everybody's got enough to keep them busy for another week or two. Next week, we hope to have out the video tutorials that will finish up this project. Please post your pictures on our Facebook page, Instagram. We'd love to see how everybody's going. And I will post some of the pictures of mine also. Happy knitting. Talk to you soon.
Be safe.